Greetings. How y'all feeling? How are y'all feeling on this hump day? Do you know what day it is? Do you know what day it is? Yes. Ashe. Aye, boo, boo. I'm not even going to hold y'all long, Ashe, because I got things to do and people to see. Aye, boo, boo. Greetings. Feel free to communicate, to commune, to join in. Let's chop it up. Yes, I am Robin. For those that don't know, creatrix of Amethyst and Clover. Ashe. Welcome to the fold. Welcome to the tribe. Aye, boo, boo. How are y'all feeling? How you feeling? Hi. So I'm gonna just jump right into it. I was talking in my group, was it today? This rising, and we were talking about the dark moon, new moon energy, eclipse in Gemini, and speaking of the dualities, and just a lot of people already know about Mercury being in retrograde and Mercury being a planet of communication, fast communications, and all that yummy goodness. But for those that don't know, Mercury rocks with Gemini as well as Virgo, but since we're in Gemini season, we're focusing more so on that Gemini energy. So Gemini is all about communication, is all about fast thinking, collecting information very fast, and being able to process it, being able to do things simultaneously is all about the dualities, and for us, it comes a time of trying to balance things out. Twos rock with balance as well, or double ones, being a leader, taking charge, making a move, but when you have Mercury in retrograde, then you definitely want to proceed with caution. The lines of communication can be blurry. It can be a lot of nebulous energy going around, a lot of confusion. You can't see things quite clearly. You don't know what to make of things. A lot of us can find ourselves in crossroads, experiencing rebirths, not necessarily knowing what step to take, but definitely needing to make a decision. Ashe. So in that conversation, several cards came out, and I said that I would do a proper reading, and I am here to do that. Ashe. So the first one that came out was 22, and it was Oath. I don't know if y'all can see that. Oath, and it said promise, pledge, and contracts. The next one was 42, and those that rock with the kid know that she does play around with the numbers. Ashe. So 42 was bliss, and it came out to be contentment, satisfaction, and security. And the last one, I love this card. The last one is 44, and it is the other world, and it's all about veil, illness, and transition. So, as we were talking, and this is kind of where we left off. As we were talking about the pledges, the contracts, and the group. The card that came out last week was about commitments. Well, an oath is even deeper, and it takes it a step further than the actual commitment. It's actually binding. Your word is bond. However you do your oaths, whether you made a promise, you shook hands, you actually signed on the dotted line, there was an oath, or you may be thinking of taking an oath, taking a pledge, even if it's to yourself, and is encouraged that you definitely want to make sure that you are mindful of the words that you are using, that you are seeing, that you're taking in, especially if it's in regards to contracts. Don't just assume Again, even if you definitely want to ask proper questions. If there are things that you definitely don't understand, then you definitely want some clarity. Get people to ask examples, have them simplify it, as best they can, because with the energy of this card is coming through that when you give your word, it doesn't mean that a person is going to take it in the manner in which you gave it. There's a lot of trickster energy taking place. Papa Legba also rocks with Mercury, just to give an example. And I know that some people, think that trickster energy is negative energy or is bad energy, and that's just not the case. When you have trickster energy coming through, now some tricksters, yeah, they can be, but when I'm talking about Papa Legba, I'm definitely going to clean that up. Ashe. For me, let me just say it based off me. For me, Papa Legba rocks in a manner of getting you to think, making sure you say what you mean and mean what you say. And it's not one of those times where I need my music in my background. Anytime I'm talking about Papa Legba, baby, I don't need the music in the background to keep me company. Ashe. But yeah, he's definitely going to make you think. He's definitely going to have you, looking at things from different perspectives. He is a master linguist. He is the master linguist. I know a lot of people already know that he is the man at the crossroads. Like, he is the crossroads. And he relays messages. He opened doors to relay the messages, but he can also close the doors as well in regards to making sure no messages get through. Nothing can be done without Papa Legba. Ashe. We're clear on that. So the reason that he comes up, again, not just because he rocks with Mercury energy, but because it's all in regards to communication. So in retrograde, they're always encouraging you to pause for the cause. Now may not be the best time to actually sign contracts, make any serious business deals, ventures, to each their own. You rock how you rock. But there's definitely an energy that is rocking around. So when you're speaking of things like in regards to communication, you definitely want to make sure that you are choosing your words carefully. Take a minute and think things through. I know that this is a very emotional time, or a lot of people may be tapping into their childlike energies and, just having some fun. You may have been taking that Taurus energy and you've been working, planning, and it's just been grind, stack, because, Taurian people, they love their money. Ashe. And with the Gemini energy, they're very kid-like and airy and fun, and, it's just about, love and being free, as most air signs are, Ashe, about being free and, just taking that time to explore. But nonetheless, you definitely want to find the balance in it all. Don't just focus on all the positives. And I know that there are tons of positives that come along with dark moon, new moon energy, because it's all about, rest, recharge, regenerate, all the REs, especially when we're dealing with the retrogrades. And it's also about introspection, letting go, starting anew, getting a fresh start, taking things to that next level. And that can be very exciting. It can be very, there's a lot of fun in that. People take a lot of pride and have a lot of fun in actual planning, the things they want to manifest, or, turning their dreams into a reality, Ashe. But on the flip side, shadow worker, I'm also, going to take a look into the shadows. And especially during this time, I feel like this time the shadows are very important, because with that eclipse, it is nothing but a shadow. You know what I'm saying? With the dark moon, is nothing but a shadow. The dark moon is there, but you can't see it. It's in the shadows, and that's already twice. That's already that Gemini energy, the dualities of it all. So this energy could be very murky, maybe not as clear. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely want to take some time to think things through. Air signs is all about mental energy. Libras, Aquarians, and of course, Gemini is all about mental energy. So it does not mean that we do not feel. It just means that we don't miss a beat. We don't miss a step of just solely relying on our feelings or going straight off our feelings. We do take the time to think. So yeah, now is that time. Read the fine print. And y'all heard me say this months before, but that time is definitely here now. That energy is definitely here now. Read the fine print. Get another set of eyes on it, on the flip end. And there's no coincidence that these came out like this. You got 22 here, you got 44 here. So, and that's basically the same energy heightened. So let that be a message that the energy that we're experiencing right now, regardless of what it is, if it's happiness, sad, grief, loneliness, disappointment, anger, rage, all of it is definitely going to be heightened. So the other world, where we're talking about the veil, the illness and transition, there's a lot of energy of being at those crossroads, needing to make a decision, not necessarily sure on which way to go. In regards to this card, they're saying that the veil is down. For those in rock with amethyst and clover, we know that the veil came down towards the end of last year. Like the veil is down and it's down. So there's definitely a lot of different energies that are amongst us. I was washing dishes. Don't pay attention to my little ashy hands. Let me remove that situation right now, though. I can definitely do that. You, sir. Working in a doctor's office, you wash your hands a lot, so your hands are always ashy. Ashe. But yeah, so with that veil being down, and we were talking about that trickster energy, not everything may be as it appears. You know, even Neptune is playing a big part. Neptune is squared off with the moon, the sun and the moon, and, you know, all that energy is definitely overlapping. So there's definitely a lot of shadows. So you could be facing some hardships or some hard decisions need to be made. You could be experiencing some issues in your relationship. You could be experiencing some issues at work. You know, there's a lot of different factors that are involved. But whatever it is, you definitely want to make sure that you are definitely feeling what you're going to feel, you know, and think things through and then come back to the heart and then push that out into the universe. Whether it's hard conversations, some people are getting into new relationships, some people are getting out of relationships, and you may not necessarily be sure if it's the right move to make. Now is a good time to rock with spirit. We were talking about a dream that I had last night where it was all about zombies, and the zombies wasn't like the Walking Dead zombies or the World War Z zombies. These were people like you and me, you know, just regular people, but they were not rocking with their spirit, you know, and it was a decision that had to be made. And we were all feeling, we were running and trying to escape. And it was just a lot of emotions and a lot of feelings, and we wasn't thinking clearly. So when I rose this rising, that was definitely a message that I wanted to share. Do not go solely off of, you know, your emotions. The heart does play a big part, but don't discredit your mind. And your heart does play a big part. So don't just solely focus on the mind. You definitely want to create some form of a balance. Some of us are definitely experiencing growth, change. There's a lot of changes, fast changes. It's a 5 years, so it's definitely a lot of changes taking place. Unexpected changes are taking place. We may not be prepared or ready. Whenever I see this card, I always associate it with the death card. And whenever I see the death card, I always associate it with Scorpio, because that is the tarot for the death card. So, you know, it's all about that life, death, and rebirth. Plus, this is just a sexy ass card. I mean, I don't know if you're getting a good view, but I don't know. I just rock with it. The purple eyeshadow, the very dark purple lips is very vampy. Yeah, I love it. But they're also speaking of like illnesses. So you could be really making yourself sick by constantly dwelling and thinking and dwelling and thinking and dwelling and thinking. You know, this is a good time to rock with spirit, of course. You know, go to your altar, do some meditation, do some journaling, do some sankofa, take a look back into, you know, old entries that you put in. Or if something is coming up in your dreams, or if something is coming up and it feels very deja vu-ish, like I've done this before. Where did I see this before? You definitely want to spend some time there. Pay attention to the numbers that are coming across your path. Again, the numbers that dropped out this rising is 22, 42, and 44. That's a lot of twos or a lot of fours, depending on how you want to flip it. Ashe, ashe. So it's all about right now the balance, making sure your foundation is firm, making sure that it's stable, you know, is on solid ground. And if you made an oath, you want to honor that, especially if you made an oath to yourself. You definitely want to honor that. If you're on a new journey, or you're taking the next step to the journey that you're currently on, just know that going into the other realms or the underworld, or, you know, walking in between the veils for those that rock, there's a lot of room for growth there. There's a lot of room for connecting the bond between you and your spirit, you and your ancestors, or however it is that you rock, you and your angels, whatever that you call it. Is a beautiful time. It doesn't mean that it's just going to be pure chaos and pure hardships. but it doesn't mean that it's not either. It's just up to you in regards to how you want to balance that out. And once you make that decision and you go ahead and you pledge, you're signing your name on a dotted line. That is a contract, even if you agree to something. Verbal contracts, can definitely weigh heavy in court. Sometimes if that's all you have, your word against somebody else's, then that's what it goes by. So whoever presents the best argument will win. So you definitely want to be mindful of your words. Pay attention to the words that you're saying. Pay attention to the words that are being said to you. Ashe. Like earlier today, when I got home, I was like, you should have just kept your mouth closed. But I always speak the truth, my personal truth, and I have to stand by that. And standing by a truth is not the most comfortable all the time. And I know people think that's really easy for me, but there are a lot of factors that are involved when you're speaking truth. It could be retaliation, it could be isolation, it could be damnation. People don't necessarily like the truth. And I don't like to ruffle anyone's feathers if I can help it. But when it comes time for me to speak my truth, then I will stand and I will stand alone. I don't have a problem in that. From that, I will find my security. I will find my peace. I will find my stability. I will find bliss. Ultimately, if I'm not bliss right now, me living in my truth as opposed to keeping quiet or agreeing to go along to get along, I'd rather be alone and be content. I'd rather stand alone and, be secure and have the security that I'm going to always speak the truth, no matter how hard it is, no matter if I'm by myself or others are rocking. The truth for me will always outweigh any lie, any omission, and keeping quiet is just going along to get along. People like, I'm not even going to get involved in that. Where there's a line drawn in the sand and you are in the area, if you're choosing not to make a side or you're choosing not to choose a side, then the side is automatically chosen for you. So you definitely want to make sure that every move you make and every decision that you make, it is of you, for the greatest good of you, because of you, about you. You're always a factor. You're your biggest moving piece of the puzzle, of your life puzzle. So if the goal is to be blessed, then you have to take a look. Did you sign any contracts? Are you willing to deal in any contracts? Will this be the greatest good for you? How will this benefit you? How will this benefit the masses? You understand what I'm saying? Is no way to really figure out exactly what every energy is carried out, especially when you're wheeling and dealing, because everybody always have their best interest at heart. Yeah, you'll be able to reap the benefits, especially if you're not the one that's offering. If you're on the receiving end, you always have to factor in that this is definitely going to benefit someone else, maybe just a little bit more for them than it will be for you, because it's their contract. They're trying to get you to sign. They're going to gain something out of this, Ashe. So just go in and be mindful. So yeah, I just want to pull a few more cards to take a look and see exactly what was going on here, because it just comes across with all of these twos and all of these fours is a balance. There's some things that are not balanced out, or you're trying to figure out the balance. You're trying to figure out what will make you happy, how to go about getting to that blissful state, how to go about getting to that peaceful state. And for me, is a state of mind. If I want to be happy, I am happy. If I'm not happy, then I'm going to figure out why I'm not happy and take the proper, steps to become happy. Everything is a choice. Whatever it is that you got going on is definitely a choice. So that 22 is a master number. That's definitely coming from the higher ups. And they're telling you to think about any promises, any pledges, or any contracts that you have given, accepted. I hope you're taking a look at that fine print. If it's still on the table, because this is where that other world is coming from. If it's still on the table, you do have time to get another pair of eyes on it. You understand? Whether it's someone that you trust or actually getting a lawyer involved, you definitely want to make sure that you understand what you're signing your name for on. Because, baby, let me tell you, 15 years later, it can come back and bite you on the ass. Ashe. Yeah, but we're not even going to dwell on that. What's going on, my people? Talk to the kid. What's popping? YouTube is very different from Facebook, because on Facebook, people are more comfortable communicating and engaging. And it seemed like on YouTube, for me, and I'm new, so I get it. People would rather just watch and listen. But as I tell people in my private sessions, my personal readings, the more we communicate, the more the energy will come through. I have no problem in talking, but I definitely, I don't know. I'm an air sign. I like communication, a two-way street. I don't like open-ended conversations. I don't like to be the only one talking and have you being the only person that's listening. How to the ever, I have messages to get out, so I will rock. But that's just my way of saying the door is open to commune if you choose to do so. Ashe, Ashe. And those have given a thumbs up. Thank you so much for rocking. And I'm letting the kid know that the content thus far is worthy of those thumbs up. So let's see what else we got going on. We got Yule, we got Rebirth. So, and the Yule and the Rebirth is coming right up under the oath. So this pledge that you're taking or this contract that you're taking is definitely going to take you to a new level. Is definitely going to have you, and maybe that is a part of your decision making. That some people can't rock. Some people can't go on this leg of the journey. Some people can't go where you're headed. Your course is your course, your path is your path. And if people are not on the same accord or they're not on the same frequency, they shouldn't be rocking. So this is just telling you what's happening. Yule is all about that energy of winter. And winter is not that far. Winter is only 6 months from now, Ashe. So it's really not that far. There could be some changes that are taking place, and you'll actually be able to see it in its totality clearly by the winter time, or whatever it is you're thinking about will come to pass around that winter time. But you see that there is fire down there. That rebirth energy is it really does rock with the other world energy. When I was talking about, that Scorpio energy is of the life, death, and rebirth, that death phase. Some tarot even call the death card now the rebirth card, just to try to give it a higher vibration, because so many people don't like to even consider death. But something has to die in order for something to be reborn. You understand what I'm saying? To be reborn means that you were born once. Or what happened that you were reborn, something had to die. And this is why when you think of Christmas, Jesus' birth, Ashe, and then you have Easter, the resurrection. So he had to die and then he rose again. That's a rebirth. So I don't understand why Christians don't rock with that, but Ashe. So the rebirth is definitely, and you don't have to literally die, but something must come to an end. That's how I take it when I see rebirth. When I've gone through 2 rebirths. They really do bring you close to the edge. And I know for a point, I was just like, Jesus, take the whole vehicle. You know what I'm saying? Like, just take it all. And that was during my Christian days. And then during my enlightened or walking on my path, same thing. Nana Boloklo, look, apparently, don't drag this out. If it's time for me to meet the maker, let's be about it. It's really hard. It's a serious growing pain. Ashe. And it can feel heavily like depression, or is zapping your energy. And that is definitely the energy that's taking place right now. There's a lot of energy being zapped. Herbal Kitchen. The Alchemist. So these 2 cards right now are leaning heavily towards the other world. No coincidence is there, because when I think of the underworld, and you can see how dark she is, when I think of the other world, I instantly think of the underworld, the underrealm, the other realm. You know what I'm saying? So this is a lot of, soul below energy, your ancestors, your spirit guides, the Orishas, the Lawas, the unicorns, the fairies, the vampires, the wolves, the mermaids. However it is that you rock, is that under realm. And I know people like, oh, unicorns, and they're so beautiful, they can be a part of the under realm. Well, they are the other world. How about that? Some people call it the under realm, the other world, whatever it is you want to rock. And then let's be clear, she also has the spider web energy coming through, and Anansi came through with the spider and the web through amethyst and clover. And we was talking about that, how the silk is very fragile and strong at the same daggone time. It's a good balance of it all. Mayat also came through in that reading. So for those of y'all that, they're rocking the Egyptian traditions, Mayat definitely came through, and all of these twos are definitely telling you is about balancing out your life. With the alchemist, y'all know how I feel about the alchemist. You are the alchemist, you are the magician, you have everything that you need. Again, that Anansi, the spider, definitely came through when we was talking about that. The spider doesn't go looking for silk. It has its own, and it doesn't mind taking the time to create its web. And just be mindful, webs also rock with traps. And we've been talking about all of these illusions and smoke screens and all of the shadows. There's a lot of things taking place in the shadows. There's a lot of energy taking place in the shadows. So while you're riding the wave of high vibration, please do not discredit the lower vibration. Ashe. And not saying that the shadows have low vibrations, but for human experiences, for us being humans, when we think of the shadows, or we think about things like shadow work, you automatically don't think of moonbeams and rainbows. You don't think of positive energy. You know that that's where a lot of trauma is. That's where a lot of hurt and pain and things that you just didn't want to deal with, that you swept up under the rug. Where they're telling you now is a good time to go ahead and deal with those things. And maybe some of us need to do a cleansing bath or take a cleansing shower, do a spell or do some work for healing, really dealing with your traumas, because everything is in the shadows right now. Even the energies that are preying on the fact that you won't be thinking things through. So I encourage Amethyst and Clover in Facebook to really take a moment, take a step back and think things through before you even go on about, agreeing to whatever it is that you're agreeing to. Please make sure that you know what it is that you're agreeing to. And then we have feminine energy definitely coming through. And again, just to be clear, feminine energy doesn't automatically mean that this is about a woman, even though at the top it says lady and goddess. So this could be a little confusing within itself. And again, that's just further proving the point that you definitely want to make sure you understand what you're taking a look at, because at the top it says lady and then it says goddess, but then at the bottom it says feminine. Feminine energy doesn't mean that it's in relation to being a woman. You could be a male tapping into your feminine energy. You want to be more open and you want to be more expressive. These are just quotations, because to say that means to say that men aren't open and men don't know how to express their feelings and things like that. Even though in this society, men are more conditioned to not. So this is why I'm saying it like that. Ashe, ashe. But yeah, that feminine energy, that nurturing energy, being patient with yourself, being kind to yourself, being kind to others. Ashe. Sensuality, sexuality. Everybody that knows, this is Amethyst. I named some of my decks and she's Amethyst. So anytime that I see this card, the first goddesses or deities that I associate with is Oshun, Urzali Frida, Oba, and that's pretty much it. But just to give you other connections, Aphrodite, Isis, for those that rock with Isis, even though Isis, as I said, I digress. But yes, so that feminine energy, and then you can see the ancestors are all around. You also see that full moon. We know that after the dark moon and after the new moon, we start going back towards working towards the fullness of the moon. So it's going to be taking place as time progresses. When is the full moon? Let me take my gazelles off. I love when she say that. Okay, so did I go past it? The full moon will take place on June 24th. And it's going to be in between, depending on your calendar, it's going to be in between Sagittarius and Capricorn. So it's going to be coming out of a fiery energy, going into an earth energy. So all that movement and all that passion and all that. Oh, okay. So we're talking about the full moon energy here. And we're talking about the Sagittarian energy of that fire and that passion, where you definitely see a lot of fiery passion, sensuality, sexuality taking place there. So that may be a good time to honor any feminine deity, and again, feminine deity and or goddesses that you rock with. That may be a good time to, to go ahead and do that. So yeah, you definitely want to just make sure that you understand. The biggest takeaway is to understand exactly what it is that you're doing. Remember why you're doing it. Be clear, and not just, during this time, but moving forward. You should always be clear, and don't do anything that is not going to benefit you on some level, because how does that work? And I know society has been and continuing to condition us to be selfless, but there's no balance there. Because while you're being selfless, someone is definitely reaping the rewards, and they're definitely setting things up to reap those rewards. I mean, they have to be a little selfish. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not telling you to, disregard everybody and only be out for self. Never would I say that. But what I am saying is, if everybody can eat, make sure that you got something on your plate too. Ashe, ashe. Yeah. So the Alchemist, that just lets me know that some people are actually working on some things, and there's actually a bowling. And I know the last time that I did a live, which was a while ago, I'm still getting used to YouTube, but there was a bowling and I couldn't remember. I said, I think that's a bowling. When I got off the live, I definitely looked it up, and sure enough, it was a bowling. But there is a bowling knife right here. So maybe someone needs to do a cord cutting, and the herbal kitchen and the Alchemist is definitely under bliss. So maybe it's definitely time to let go of something, and deep inside is going to make you happy, but on the surface, you're just not sure. Well, if you're not happy now, and to continue to let it go on is just going to get worse. It's not going to bang around and by some fluke of luck or magic, then it's just going to be a beautiful thing. If it's not working, it's not working, And if you're taking these oaths and pledges, I hope that you're taking an oath and a pledge for yourself that you're going to do what makes you feel good, what makes spirit feel good. You're going to rock with spirit, because that energy that you're taking in and you're going to push out into the universe, that's what's going to ripple and have a rippling effect for everyone that is around you and for the rest of society. So it's all about taking the proper steps to make you happy. And you don't have to hurt someone else to make you happy, because that's not happiness. And universal law, the laws of Mayat, or however you want to look at it, what goes around comes around. That energy is definitely going to come back. So, yeah. Even if you've been hurt, let that be a message. Even if you've been hurt, there's no need of retaliation. And I'm working on a whole nother live, because my husband, Milton, for those that know, or those that don't know, my husband's name is Milton. I don't like to keep saying my husband because it's just like overkill. His name is Milton. He's been very into these YouTube videos of the drill, like the killing rapper thing, like how it all started, like these young things out here now, these young boys, these young kids, and they're talking about all this, murder, kill type stuff, and they are gang bangers and all the rest of this stuff. We didn't know how deep it actually went. So that's part of removing the veil, to actually take a look and to see. As adults, we understand that the world has really changed, and you're trying to figure out how did it change, and that's what sucked him into it. But you definitely want to know that you don't have to feel helpless. There's always something that we can do, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in regards to that. I'll just let you know where my thought pattern was as I'm talking to y'all. But being the alchemist just means that you have tools. You have the necessary tools. If you don't like something in your life, you have exactly what it takes to change that. Ashe, ashe. And I suggest that you change it. And here's that Gemini energy. So Earth definitely wants to lighten things up, and just acknowledging that, yeah, when we were children, there was a lot of innocence that took place. There were a lot of things that were just like wondrous to us. It was so magical. Like the sun was so big, and no matter how hot it was, we just loved the sun. Well, I know a lot of adults now, they don't even rock with the sun. They don't even want to go out in the sun. I don't understand that. They rather take vitamin D supplements than to just go outside for 5 to 10 minutes and get that energy naturally from the sun. I digress. But as children, think about your childhood. Even if trauma comes up. Don't forget that in the shadows is meant to grow. You can't have a rebirth if you're not willing to go through the trenches, Ashe. So if there was ever a time that innocence was lost, you want to deal with that. If there was ever a time where you feel as though that you didn't even have a childhood, and this is why you're doing the things that you're doing now, there's no regaining. You can't recapture. It's in the past. What happened has happened. You can only move forward, and as an adult, your childhood, you could have that kid inside of you waiting for you to come back to acknowledge, what happened so she can move on too, So don't be too hard on yourself. Don't play your martyr. Don't be a victim. We're all survivors of something, and let that be a high vibrational energy as far as like changing the words, not to give off the illusion, not to believe something that just wasn't, it really is a higher vibration. Would you rather be a victim or would you rather be a survivor? Same situation, but two totally different energies. You understand what I'm saying? It all depends on how you want to look at it. Ancient healing wisdom. Yeah, that's coming right along with that energy of that rebirth, and telling you that you're not alone. And then it's right under the herbal kitchen with the alchemist. So ancient healing wisdom, shaman, you could have an ancestor or you do have an elder or ancient, or maybe you've been studying a lot about herbs, and how to work with herbs and their properties. Now would be a good time to start creating a formula, really start thinking, on the next step. What's the next step? You can only study and read and learn so much. At some point, you're going to have to start to implement. So maybe it's time to go into the kitchen and try one of those remedies that you've been working on or that you've been thinking about. Do a small trial run, because even though, most herbs are non-toxic, if you're combining things and you don't understand the properties of how they will get along or how they will reject each other, that could, somebody in my head just said that could lead to a disaster. So, but the only way you're going to know is to actually start putting some things together, get to work, really start to hone in on your craft and just know that you do have your ancestors and you do have some elders that are on this round that can really help. If you're in a house or a coven or a sisterhood, a brotherhood or something like that, ask a couple of questions. And it doesn't mean that, and I know it says ancient healing wisdom, and this energy is definitely older energy, but not all old people are wise and not all young people are foolish. You understand what I'm saying? So if you feel as though I just don't have anyone, you have your goddamn self. You've learned a lot, you lived a lot. That within itself creates wisdom. And I think this is what the rebirth wants you to understand, or the letting the veil come down and going into the tween times or that other world, that underworld, is to really show you just how much you have grown and how you can nurture yourself, how you can help heal yourself, how you can actually allow that to come up, take what you need and leave the rest and close that chapter and really move on. Ashe, yeah. They're telling you they want you to ground yourself. It says tree, grounding. Meditation goes a long way, making sure that and this again is balance. You can see the as above and the so below, and we're right here in the center of it all, that center realm. You definitely want to make sure that you are taking, and there's a crane, or, it could be an ibis. And the ibis is a part of the Sankofa, but they're definitely telling you to spend some time in meditation, even in your darkest hours, even in this dark time. Just know that light is definitely going to come through. Don't be afraid of the dark, or you shouldn't be afraid of the dark. It's your dark. You know exactly what's in those shadows. And if you're going to allow people to play in your dark or in the blind spots, then you want to play there too. Ashe, you should, is your playground. You ain't got to invite nobody else in. So be very mindful. And if you ground yourself and just center yourself and just see things for as they are, you'll then have a better understanding in regards to how to proceed. What actually do you need? What don't you need? To create that solid foundation and get that bliss or that harvest that you're working towards or that you desperately secretly want. And that's another thing. Secrets are definitely coming up. So for those that have secrets, they may be harder to keep right now. And I shared that with Amethyst Clover earlier today. And those that are trying to bring the secrets to life, that may be challenging as well. It's a very fickle time right now. It's a very fickle time. So, and then we're just going to pull these 3 cards. I think I'm doing quite well. 40 minutes. It'll be about 45 minutes. I'm under an hour. Yes. Is any of this making sense for anyone? Is any of this rocking with anyone? Because right now is definitely, you definitely just want to take some time to think things through, tweak some things where they can be tweaked. If you need to scrap it, scrap it. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the whole part of the dark moon energy. The new moon energy is all about letting some shit go to make room or start to create a new. Dark moon energy is definitely about letting some things go, seeing what's in the shadows, healing, getting some rest. And this is also where the bliss comes into play. Maybe some people just need some rest. That's Sleeping Beauty right there. Maybe some people just need some rest. Like maybe you're like, Robin, I've already gone through this shit. Like I'm legit fucking tired. Then take a minute, get some rest. You know, these planets go into retrograde for a reason. The word is retro. You can rest, recharge, regenerate, renew, reestablish, reacquaint. How about that? Reorganize, rebirth, reveal. All them REs, baby. Y'all know I rock with the REs. Y'all know that. Clarity, please. And then you have tears of joy and sadness. Yeah, there's definitely some balancing of the emotions that is needed. The same thing that make you cry could make you laugh, and then vice versa. But the real question is, are you seeing yourself? Are you seeing yourself? Some of us, and let that come through, because I was thinking it earlier today. I was talking with Spirit, and some of us have a really bad habit of, there's nothing really going on with us as far as trauma or needing to heal. We've put in a lot of work, and a lot of us have healed. But because we are not willing to take that next step, we rather focus on or recreate something that we feel as though that we need to heal from. So some of us really are happy and are taking that energy and turning it into something else so we can continue to heal. Some of us are addicted to healing. And then some of us are addicted to being in pain. You really want to be happy, but you tell yourself you don't even know what that means, and you don't even know how to do that. You don't even know where to begin. And I'm not talking about those that have like clinical depression and things like that. I'm just talking about overall. I can't speak on what I do not know. So I don't know what real depression is really all about, so I don't touch that. But I'm just talking about for those of us that have every power. We are the alchemists. We have the power. We have the energy. We have the resources. We have everything that we need to actually change that shit. And we're just choosing not to. So if there's a part of you that wants to be happy, but you see the rest of the world is hurting, or you feel as though that it's improper or it's not cool to be happy when others are sad, that's not being true to you. So don't be sad when you're happy, and don't be necessarily happy when you're really sad. Whatever it is, work it through, work it out. And if you are sad and you want to be happy, take some time to think about what would make you happy, and actually put in the work to achieve that. And I know this instant gratification and this microwave type of lifestyle that we have right now, things are just not happening fast enough. But you cannot negate divine time. You cannot overlook the fact that we are in a retro period, and they're more than just Mercury in retrograde, Ashe. So there could be a lot of delays. And then let's not forget that we may be blocked. And we talked about blockages. Just because, you're blocking someone else out and you're calling that protecting yourself, nothing can get in, not even your hopes, your dreams, and your wants, needs, and or desires. Ashe, Ashe. So when you're throwing up blocks, you're blocking out everything. Just know that. Everything. And then we have give love. Ooh. And there's the tie that binds, and I was just talking about a cord cutting, but there's a tie that binds here. So someone could be taking an oath or a pledge or a contract in regards to getting married. It is wedding season, so congratulations to all the fiancés and to all the new brides and all the rest of that good stuff. But yeah, give love first. And then look, there's a full moon again. There's that full moon energy yet again. Make sure you're giving yourself love. Make sure that you're attending to your needs, even when you're in a relationship. Just because you're in a relationship or you're actually in a marriage does not mean that you have to forget about yourself. And when two become one, I get it, is a part of the oath, but it does not mean that you lose parts of yourself to make anything work. You're still an individual, even within a union. You're still an individual, even within a marriage or a serious relationship or a partnership, And I know that it gets kind of tricky, especially with couples, because the longer couples are together, the more they kind of mimic each other. And yeah, without even thinking about it, you do lose little pieces of yourself. But to help alleviate that, you definitely want to make sure that you're still giving yourself the things that you need. Remember, with that feminine energy, the lady goddess energy, it was all about nurturing, being patient, being kind, being loving, being gentle, being supportive of yourself first. So making sure that you're giving that proper love. And then you do have that fire energy. And I was just saying that the new moon will have that fire energy in regards to Sagittarius. So yeah, there's going to be some changes and there's going to be some things that's going to be taking place within the next couple of weeks. So just be mindful and on the lookout for that. And then, let's be clear, this is definitely Gemini energy. And I know by that time we'll be out of Gemini season. How to the ever, we're in Gemini season now and we're talking about it. And the energies and everything that is coming now is going to definitely come into its totality during this full moon energy. So what is that? June, July, we'll be in Cancer at that time. So yeah, you definitely want to, be aware of that. But look at all the twos, look at all the dualities. You got two cats down here eating food, maybe her familiar and her familiar. Pay attention to your familiars. Pay attention to the animal energy. And then, let me just hold this card for a second. There's a lot of smoke screens and mirrors. You see all that smoke. You got that fire energy and it's going up. You got fire energy here and it's going up. So also, if you are looking for any type of new divination or you want to spice up or just try something new, try candle magic or try smoke magic. There's an actual name for that I forget, but try gazing, smoke magic. To give you an example, when I first saw this just now, the fire looks like a wolf. How can I make that better? I don't know. But the fire looks like a wolf. Can you see it? Like he's howling at the moon up there. And when you're using your breath is actually the best, most powerful tool that you can use. This is why the saying of a spell out loud, the 3 times or however many times you do it, it does strengthen it and add power to it. But it's actually the words, the breath is coming from deep within you and out. So again, if there are contracts and oaths, make sure everybody is on the same page, because it's always easy to get in something than it is to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? So just make sure that you know what's going on. And then I see, there's that Papa Legba energy. She's rocking in red and black there. You understand what I'm saying? And then it's like red and white here. So, and they're in a circle. And then you have that grounding energy coming out. So even if you're not in a partnership or relationship, you can still, you're always in a partnership and a relationship because you should be within yourself. But yeah, definitely. And if you're sick of being solo and single, before you put somebody in a jar and before you pay someone to do a spell, you definitely want to make sure that you have utilized all your resources, because what you thought into the universe is going to come back to the treefold. 9 times or however it is that you rock. So you definitely want to make sure that everything that you're doing is just, is honest, is true, is your truth, and it's clear. It's clear, because there are a lot of Miss Moon, she actually has eyes. She's actually looking with her eyes there. She's actually watching things unfold. So your ancestors are higher up. they are watching you. Definitely want to make sure that every T is crossed, I is dotted, your P's and Q's and your ducks are all in a row. You want to make sure of all that yummy goodness. And be mindful to not let your fire burn out. Don't let the passion burn out. Don't let the love, if your love life is going in a rut, if it doesn't feel like there's a spark, before you just walk out of your relationship, definitely take a minute and try to see all of the possibilities. Has everything been exhausted? And I'm not talking about no abusive relationships. I'm just talking about running for the hills. But a lot of relationships are in a rut, and then they feel as though that the spark is gone. There's no more passion. There's no more fire. So there's no more love, and they just want out. And then when they're on the outside looking in, everybody else is just having a bomb ass time, and the grass is way greener on the other side. And then they get out into that realm and just realize that they didn't just gave up their good thing for the illusion of something else. The full moon, the moon energy, the water energy, it also represents the illusion of things. So make sure that you're not being the one that's creating illusions for yourself. Understand what I'm saying? And then the last one says strength and resilience. And then again, she's putting in that work, y'all. So yeah, it's definitely time to put in that work. Whatever it is that you've aligned yourself to, whatever oath you've taken, and if you haven't taken it yet, if you're in that other realm where you're in between worlds and you're just trying to figure some things out, you want to just take a moment and really just ask for some assistance. Ask for some assistance for those that are working on spells and you feel as though they're not working. Do not give up. Everything, may not come as fast as we want it to, but you have to work it. It's a practice. You have to keep practicing it. And if you're not clear on what are the signs, do some research. It's really big right now to do the research for yourself as opposed to taking someone else's word for it. This is why I'm always telling people to take things to their altar. Don't take my word for it. I don't reap, sow anything. I'm doing what my life purpose is. I'm getting those messages out to the masses. Whatever you decide to do is what you do with them. You have to start holding yourself accountable because the universe, the laws, the orishas, the ancestors, they're definitely going to hold you accountable. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. I'm late. I was trying to beat under 50 minutes. So, yeah, I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for rocking. May no ill thought, words, curses, hexes, spells, negative energy, low vibration cross you, your aura, your auric, or aortic field. We're going to take what we need and leave the rest. What they're really saying, though, right now is a good time to work on that magic, especially if you need to release. Do a cord cutting. If you don't know what a cord cutting is, just do some research on it. And then ask someone that you trust for more information, and then, maybe pay for a service or try to figure out how to do it for yourself. And maybe if not this go round, maybe you would have practiced enough and you'll be able to really, put that work in by the winter season. Ashe. Some things you really just got to work at it. Don't forget that childlike quality. If something is telling you to have some fun, take a moment, take a break, have some fun. Take a moment, take a break. Our issues, our pain, our worries, they ain't going nowhere because we haven't released them yet. So just know that, if you need to have a little bit of fun, have some fun. If you need to take a rest, take a rest. Whatever it is you need to do in this moment, go ahead and do that, because right now we should be making moves. Proceeding with caution is definitely the name of the game. So movement is definitely needed. But if you need to rest and recharge and regenerate and renew yourself, definitely by all means do that. Do not push yourself. You're going to end up burning the midnight oil till there is none. You understand what I'm saying? So, yes. And then it circles all over the place. So cycles, feminine energy. When I'm thinking of these circles, I see zeros, womb energy, so just tapping into your intuition. It's talking to you. What are your dreams saying? My first two dreams this week was about feathers, and last night it was about zombies, and the number is 0214. So I've been spending time just doing research and taking a look into that. So just see what's going on with you. If anyone is trying to do any harm on any type of level, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, energetically, any other leads come through Uncle Lee. We want to send all that energy back to sender, 9 by 9 by 9, 725. Come on through. Grandma Ree, Ashe, Ashe, Aye, Boo Boo. Ashe, yo. And if you're not having the night that you want to have, and that's just not good, change that shit, baby. I love you, love you, love you. Peace. And that